G'day guys. People wanted to know how you get the little board out of this coil. And because it's a round shape, I had to do some geometric wiggling on it to work out how to do it without, if you don't want to bust the coil open and risk doing damage that way. But where it lives, where that black bit is here, that's where it lives. It lives just in there. And very hard to get an angle from a hole to where it actually goes. So it's not where the hole is and straight out that way. I've left a couple of mil thicker just in case you don't measure it properly and stuff it up. But here are the measurements. What I've done, I've gone from the point right here on the outside of that plastic mount, just right where it touches the coil itself. So if you take it 140.3 millimeters to the outside of the coil, not the lip here, but that point there, and mark it off. Then on the outside of that little circle where that connector goes, you can see I'm hard up on it, straight down to that point there, that 140.3. On this one here, step it out 5 millimeters and come down and meet that there, which is 153.5. So that line there, whoops, that one there, sorry. I'm looking at this and I'm back to front. 153.5 down to that point there. And between here and here, mainly go off this one here. This is probably more accurate. 43.2, you can make it 43.5 or whatever, make it a bit bigger. That's a straight line, not the circumference there. So if you actually mark it out like thus, you can just put the hacksaw through it and you can chop out the dongle. If you want to keep the cable, you can chop around that circle, around there. But if you go right there, it should take off the cable straight to where the dongle is. You can move it up if you really want. You can see how it goes together. If you actually make the effort and chop the whole circle out with the cable, you can see where the cable goes onto it and see how it's all connected up. But that's the magic measurements there. That measurement there, where it looks like it's intersecting a little bit closer up the coil. Actually, I did measure it to the end here, but what's happened is that I've used a black texture, and because it's pushed up a little bit. But that is the overall measurements there. To chop it out, I left it a little bit wider here, as you can see. That one there is stepped out a little bit and a bit of an angle, because you definitely don't want to chop through the module. That is plenty of clearance to just drop the whole thing out, resin block and all, and you can work on the resin block. The resin is affected by heat. You can actually, outside with lots of ventilation, you can get rid of it with a soldering iron and just, work the yellow, well, it is some sort of resiny stuff. You probably could, well, on this one I actually drilled through it, but I knew exactly where to drill. Don't do that if you don't know exactly what you're doing, because I had it in bits when I did that. And like I say, when I did this one, I did that because I didn't have the exact measurements and so forth, and I didn't know where it actually sat. But it does, if you can see the black stuff in there, it just sits up to that line there the hole on the where the cable comes through, it's about 1.5 mil thick, that there. So, but you're probably better off cutting maybe a little bit higher up here. That's dead accurate, but you want to leave room for error. If you do cut it with a hacksaw or coping saw or something like that, make sure you cut it straight up and down. Don't do that or do that. If you do that, it'll go pear-shaped. You might cut the module. So yeah, if you had, best way to do it is on a bandsaw. Put it down like that and just zit. And if you really wanted to, go the long way through here. If you really wanted to, you get a long way. But once you do that, and even if you got into this plastic and if you did use something like a coping saw or something like that, you can probably cut around the whole hole, around this hole there on the far side of it, and everything would drop out. I could say that where the windings are in here, if you wanted to save the Litz wire, you'd have to cut through here, but it gets very close to the board. There's like no wiggle room. It's hard up on the wires. If you want to do that, I could actually tell you that you'd want to cut in. Funny, I just had calipers in my hand and I put them down and I have no idea where I put them. That's what happens. Oh, here they are, over here, out of harm's way. Yeah, I was just going to start doing that 5,000. So, yeah. Okay, we'll just zero this in. And if you want to do it, I can just tell you. Okay. And because it's plastic, if I squeeze it, it'll change dimension. We're going to do it at the base. So, my Chinese calipers tell me it's negative 0.32 millimeters. I don't believe that in a fit. Loosen that off. It's got a loose battery connection, and I'm going to make sure that it zeroes properly. Thank you. According to this, 33.08 millimeters. That is from the outside there. Gosh, bloody awkward, isn't it? Hang on, do it this way. Yeah, from the outside there to the plastic on the bottom, this here has been lent over a bit. So if you want to do it spot on, let's go around and take it in a few places. No, 32.96, close enough. Just say 33. It's right in the mid-range, and you could cut here. Basically, I wonder if it's that same line, the line on there. I wonder. No, if you actually, on that line that goes around, if you actually cut on the inside of it, this side of it, you'd be all right. But if you actually measure it, it would actually. I want to be accurate on this. So, yeah, it's 33 on the inside of that line, if you can see that. There you go. So if you cut not on that line, but just on the inside of that line, right where the depression comes back up and meets the plate, if you cut there, you'll cut between the board and the Litz wire winding. So, and that is if they're all put together exactly the same. In this day and age, what is the possibility of that? My question on that will be, where are these made? That is, I'm just having a look here, see if there's any ID. What it has, it's got date codes on it. This coil is made on the 6th month of 2023. If you have a look at a lot of this stuff, they have date codes in there. But anyway, neither here nor there, just a quality control thing. So, yeah, that's that. I will say something about this one. It's a bit interesting. Now, I don't know, what is that there? If you have a look in here, you see where there's no, I don't know if you can see. Hang on, I'll try it round. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's no black shielding there, but there's some little plastic nub. Nub? Is that a good word for it? A little plastic protrusion, I suppose you want to call it. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's the end of the... Aha. Okay. I know what it is. Remember I was saying about, I think in the last video I mentioned some of the coils having vents on them. Like these things. They're basically a vent, and it's got some filtering. It's probably got silica in it or something. I don't know. I didn't make it or invent it, but maybe it's got some silica in there, and it stops water if it pulls air in if it wants. If you have an atmospheric change, if these are made at sea level and they're taken up top of mountains, they'll all pop. But maybe it's got a vent there, and and if you go back to sea level, it's going to pull in again. So maybe there's some sort of desiccant in this that stops water in the atmosphere getting into the coil. I don't know. Mr. X Coils, tell me why you put that there, because I want to know. And what's in it? Is it a silica type, or is it just fine filter mesh? I don't know. Anyway, what Minelab have done, is, let's have a look on the inside of this. This part here on the inside is at atmospheric pressure, because it's just basically the bit goes in here, and this is where the skid plate goes over, and the skid plate's not glued on or sealed, so air can get in and out into this area. And if I look very, very carefully, and where it is, I had it set up to show. Oh, there it is down there. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, let's try. There's a pinhole. You see a little hole there? Right there. There's a little hole. And if we go around to this side, and I get my worn out side cutters here, and this little plasticky doodad, okay. Oh, this is. Oh, I'm going to use these. This is interesting. Okay, so this is part of that. No, okay, it's a hole. It's just a hole, about 1.3, 1.4 millimeters, drilled through here, and it ends up on this thing here. And I will say this is some sort of fibrous filter to equalize air pressure between the sealed bit in here, where it's all sealed, and outside atmosphere. So I was going to look at something for a magnifier. Well, I have got a magnifier. How about I have a good look at it? We'll see what it is. I'm pretty sure it's just a fibrous washer, but we'll have a look. This thing, this is a good magnifier. So I'll turn this thing on. Welcome, good. Okay. I'll stick it down there. I'll move it over there a bit. And I'll adjust the light and I'll show you what this thing is. I don't want too much background light, flares up too much. Okay, now it's going to focus it. Okay, if you can see this, that's what it is. That's it sitting down there. And it is just a fibrous gadget of some sort. So it's just, I'd say it's just, don't know. Won't stop. Think about this. I'm going to be, am I going to be the devil's advocate for saying this? Does that stop water? Because if your coil is hot and you dunk it in a puddle, right, the water's going to get in under the skid plate into that area under the coil. So I was pointing this out. This is educational. Don't dunk your coils in water. So we have this little thing here. Now, I don't think it's a one-way valve or anything. It's fibrous. But in this area here, this can get water in it. Hot coil, dunk it in a puddle, cold, and the area in here, the air pressure is going to drop, of course, because it's going to molecularly shrink. The molecules, air molecules in here are going to shrink because of the cold, and it's going to go like this. Sorry for saying this, but it's going to do this. It's going to take a big gulp of whatever's on here to equalize the pressure between here and the outside world and in this section here, which is all hermetically sealed up. And do I need to state the obvious? To me, in my opinion, if that material is porous, right, it's going to suck water into the windings. I'm sorry to say it, but it's obvious, right? I never noticed it had a hole there. I said, oh, it's a silly little bit of plastic there. Damn. Okay. Maybe that was meant to be a secret. I don't know. Planned obsolescence. Joking, in my opinion. But yeah, that's really, really interesting how that works. Or I'm sorry, MindLab guys, but it sort of stands out to me. There's nothing sealing here. You know, nothing seals this to the outside universe. Dunk. Oh, my coil's a couple of grams heavier. I wonder why. No, like I'm just saying, guys, don't dunk your coils. You know, I could do an experiment. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I can do it. Hang on. We'll prove this once and for all. Because I've got my Bunnings pop-up sprinkler pipes here, which I use as test target holders. Okay, I can get this on here, and I'm going to stick that on there. Okay, there's a poly tube. Now, if I suck on this, will I get air through? I'm going to try a few little experiments. So If I choke to death, you'll know why. So you can explain that to the coroner, but give it a suck. I'm not turning blue. No, you can suck air through that easy. So it is an equalizer. Now, the big test, if I've got any, what's left of my water bottle for my soldering iron sponge, I'm going to put some water on the end of this and see if I can still suck. This will prove it one way or the other. So one drip I want. Come on. Oh, there we go. Go there. Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. You can balance a drip of water on the end of it. Okay. Now, how I'm going to do this with keeping a drip on it, I really need it to be an L shape. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try and suck it like this. Oh God, it's fallen off. And it's still on there. I'll just get it across. It's definitely stick on there. There we go. Without dropping it. Ugh. I sucked the drop straight through. Okay. Well, I sucked the drop straight through. It's like dragging on a cigarette, which I haven't done since I was about 20 something anyway. A long time ago. Gave up that rotten habit. Anyway, yeah, it allows air through and it will allow water through. What do I say about that? Okay. Sugar. Okay, all is not lost. Hang on a sec, let me think about this for a second. I've got to work out the clearance. Okay. Just trying to remember, we've got about 3 or 4 millimeters on that basket that goes in here, which holds the windings. I'm going to have to be a bit more accurate on this, but Mr. X Coils, tell me what this is. If it's got a little tiny hole on it too. It's got little perforations around the edge and a little hole. But like I say, if that thing there is short threaded, I don't even know if I really want to go this, because this is a if. You know, if you had to coil apart, you'd easy do it. But you got to work blind on this. Say you had one of these little things, or even a miniature version of this, which I'm pretty sure it is a one-way valve of some description, and I don't know if it is water resistant, waterproof, or anything. I don't know. I've never looked up on. I just don't know. No research has been done by me on it. But what I was thinking, where that little hole is there, that little hole under my finger, that little hole, which is, you know, an in and out to the universe from in here, could you drill it out carefully? You only want to go in 1 or 2 millimeters, or the plastic thickness. You'd probably start it with a normal size drill, just get the conical shape, and then I would get a flat drill without the pointy bit, like a router bit or something of that nature. You know, like a one of those boring bits. Not a boring bit, but a boring bit they use for carpentry. You know, two blades and the pointy thing, and something like a drill with a little center guide, something tiny. I'm talking 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter long, and also, you know, you got to get a drill flat, so you'd have to use a Dremel with one of those flexible arms, or you could use one of a miniature Dremel type drill. If you can get one of these valve things, you could drill it a little bit undersized, tap it, right? And I'd say those valve things are tapped. I think you want to get a smaller one too, and you could just put some silicon, non-acidic silicon, by the way, or that red silicon, which is high temperature silicon, and put a little smear on the inside part here and screw it in, and just it's there then. This is just my opinion, right? I'm not saying any design engineers or ergonomic engineers or, you know, plastic experts or coil experts or anyone didn't do the right thing. But I don't know if that piece of whatever it is that sticks on the inside there, well, I just took the whole thing off. It's not there anymore. That was the whole thing. It was just stuck on with sticky, like sticky tape. It just peeled straight off. Like I'm saying, I'm just being pedantic and a bit, you know, guys, you're not going to dip your coils in water, are you? Of course you're not. You're not going to do that. Damn. Okay. If I knew all the clearances, what I would do, that little hole there, still talking about the same little hole, I'd fill it up with silicon. I'd fill it up with silicon and forget about the pressure differential. Oh no. It's pretty, because in here, it's really, really well sealed. It's like absolutely, you know, not even a micron of water will get through this when that whole thing's with the plug and cable in there. It's really sealed. That to me is breaking the seal in a different way. And the other thing too, if you look at this, is there really enough volume here in air that it's going to cause a big problem? I don't know. I really don't know. But okay, my cure is if you could just trying to remember the design of this, about here, right about there, between the winding cage and the dongle. This pains me saying this, but if you could drill a little hole, not drill through the coil, you'll completely stuff it, but like mill the plastic away, put a thread or two on it, and put one of those valves in the top, like the other guys do. That may be something you could do. Maybe Minelab are going to redesign their coils. I don't know. Maybe they don't need to. This is just my opinion. It's just that it's just that I would do it differently than do that. I really would. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. Maybe there's something I don't know. That's why it's just an opinion. But, you know, if, say for instance, you know, trying to find bits of off-cut wire, which I don't really want on my bench, but, you know, if I stick that in there, I mean, just to show, like you can see that there, I stuck it There you go, that little bit of wire sticking through. Yeah, and there it is, wobble around. So, yeah, there is a definitely a hole there. And protected by that little piece of, well, water doesn't like it. But I suck water through it. So that's a pressure differential, just me going maybe whatever, 2 or 3 psi, not much. And yeah, I suck water through that thing. So maybe it's directional. Didn't think of that. Maybe it's directional. But this side isn't going to be sticky on it. But I can hold it on there. I'll just see. Suck air through it easy. But yeah. Well, the best way to do this is I could prove this quite easy. What I would do, I'd have that glued on hard, and I would push this into a tub of water. Okay? Push it in. And basically get an understanding of the inner diameter, work out the volume of water that would fill up with. Then stick your finger on it, take it out, and let it go and see how if water drops out of it. That'll prove you if it's a one-way valve or not. And you could even turn it, well, what you could do, if you don't need to do that, what you do is do it the other way and stick that in and see if this fills up with water. Put your finger under there like that, and then, yeah, just pull it off and see if water comes out the tube. I mean, that's how I'd do it. Use physics to your advantage, just to prove if it's a one-way or... I don't think it's one way. It's too thin. Have a look at it. This piece of polymerized something. It's definitely plasticized or something. So that's what it is. Oops, there it is. That's it. See, I got it stuck on there really good, but I suck water through that. So, but like I say, coils don't come with human mouths attached to them pulling negative pressure. So I don't know. See, this is look. Everyone in the industry watches this. I know they do because I get the feedback. But you never get contacted by anyone out in the industry saying, "Oh, you know, can you explain that we did it this way because of da 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 da?" No, it's just silence. So, guys, looks like you just have to make out what that holds for. Does it do what it is supposed to do? You know, I don't know. Maybe it's an entrance hole for ants to crawl into the coil or something and make a house in there. I don't know, right? Because I really do not know. I have an idea what it's for. In my opinion, I have an idea what it's for, right? But no one has ever said, that's for that. And no one has ever given me a book on coils saying, oh, on our coils, we put this little hole in there, don't dunk your coil in water. I don't know if they actually say that. I just don't know. I haven't bought one of these coils, and I don't know. Do you get a book with your coils saying, please do not dunk it in water? Do not put it out in a hot day and stick it in a cold puddle. That would be really asking for trouble. I've had hermetically sealed coils too. You know, you can tell they've been plastic welded around there and they stop working. These are the old ones with the cardboard carbon, and you pull it apart and the paper's like, looks like the ocean with waves on it because it's all got wet and it's all shrunk and moved like so. It's all wavy. That's how you tell if water gets in the carbon paper, by the way. I have probably got some examples of that out in the shed, which have been pulled out of coils. There is nothing here that has been drenched, but I did actually have it happen to me. I was out at Kingower and it started raining, and we, you know, hid from the rain for a bit. We went back out because there was the area I wanted to go, and it was sort of like someone dozed there years and years ago, and it was low and it was full of water, and I was detecting sort of just in God, it wouldn't even be half an inch of water, scooping along the top of it. And the detector suddenly went completely crazy. And to put it mildly, the detector went off its head. It was, I thought the detector actually something internally had happened to it, like it had blown up or something, shorted out something on the input stage or whatever. But it was, it sounded like police sirens, ambulance, and fire brigade all at different timings all together. That's how bad it was, when the detectors go bonkers, if you've ever heard it. So I thought, oh, bugger. So that was the end of that. And took it back home, plugged it in on one of the other coils. It worked fine. And then I plugged the coil into another detector. And it was, basically went like a bucket of sirens. And opened it up, and it had sucked water in through microscopic, tiny little holes where it's meant to be sealed. Sometimes it just isn't. And when you got water and temperature and differential pressures and things, it gets in, Mrs. Marsh. It just gets in, and it doesn't leave. Water's funny like that. I've done a lot of electrical or electronic installations on TV type transmitting towers and stuff like that. We use IP65 and IP68 sealed boxes with gaskets in it, and we put rain shields over the top, so water just doesn't continually inundate it. And eventually you get the call, the receiver stopped working, or the little power amplifier to the little microwave dish up there stopped working, or something of that nature. And guarantee you undo the screws and water falls out. Don't ask me, it just gets in. So even with seals, it does get in. It will just pull, and the slightest molecular sized opening will pull water through it. It just does. So pressure relief valves are probably the way to go. I don't know if it's totally foolproof. If you really want to be pedantic, you stick a snorkel on your coil and have it turn around or something, and put a whole heap of moisture absorbing silica gel in little capsules, and every time you go out, like every couple of months, unscrew it and put a new one in there, because those things will absorb moisture out of the atmosphere anyway. I don't know how you get around it. Things like that, look stupid with a snorkel on your coil, but you could get a silica type one. And I don't know if the ones on that X coil and actually I have got some other coils out there, which may have those bung things on them. So, but I've never pulled one apart because they're working coils. I'm not going to go and destroy them, the commercial coils. And well, I can pull that one apart, couldn't I? I might do that tonight and just have a look inside it and see what it is, unless I get a comment and someone tells me what's inside it and what it is. I suspect what it is, but like I say, no one's told me. But anyway, the guy who asked about the coordinates on those, there it is. You know how to stop a video and look at it carefully. And if I just hold that like so and flip it like so, you could probably make some measurements off your computer screen even, and just do it, blow it up on paper, print it, and lay it on your coil. That's one way of doing it, as long as I hold that at the same distance, not do that or do that from back to front. How about what I do? I'll line it up there. I know how to do this. So if I do that right here like so, and I flip it around like that, it's exactly the same spot. I mean, it's flipped over, it's 180 degrees out, but it's the same thing if you then rotate the screen around. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah. Now, oh, there's another thing, and I'm going to put this on at the end of the video. People have been telling me they can't get, I don't know how widespread this is. It's a local thing, I've been told. This is hearsay. Can't get coils for 7,000s at the moment. There is no stock. So this is what I've been told. These are the dongled factory type coils. I don't know if it's one dealer, all dealers, one coil maker, all coil makers. I don't know. But there seems to be some sort of issue, trouble, problem, or whatever, trying to get hold of a 7,000 coil. I don't know what the hell that's about. But I'm just saying, if you're looking for one, I'm looking for one myself. I'm looking for a 7,000 coil. I can't get one secondhand anywhere. All I want to do is destroy it. So, hey, anyone's got a busted one, send it in, please. Well, let me buy it off you. As long as you haven't blown up the dongle in it, I don't care. I don't care if it's been hit with an axe. It doesn't worry me. But massive issue. I've been told this by two people. They can't get coils. They did say a bit more. So I don't know. Is it a supply problem or a stocking issue? I don't know. But it might be different in different areas, different states. I don't know. I'm just saying it because that's what I heard. If you've heard the same thing or you have experienced the same thing, comment on it. So either back me up or shoot me down, one or the other. Because, like I say, it's only hearsay. I don't know for sure. I could go ringing up and see if I can get a coil, but then they'll know who it is. Probably tell me fibs. But that's where we are. Anyway, guys, I hope that helps with the way to chop out that thing. You could do what I do and melt the plastic, but like I say, I lost my voice for a week. It's still not 100%. It's coming back bit by bit, but just so I can annoy everybody with my videos. But that's where we are, and so there you are. 3 subjects: the water Durkin, how to chop a coil, and 7,000 coils. But people with 7,000s won't know because they never watch the end of these videos to find out. They only watch the first 5 minutes and flick it off. Say, "Oh, that doesn't interest me." But I always put on the interesting bits at the end, and that's called. If you don't stick around to find out, you're not going to know. No skin off my nose. Anyway, catches, if I can reach that.